इकना सच बुझायन तिन्ना अतुट भंडार देवाया हर चेत खाए तिन्ना सफल है अचेता हथ चढ़ाया. And the message in there is that those who conscientiously decide to walk on the path of spirituality to find the ultimate truth, even that would be a misnomer, because the truth has not been lost to anyone ever. Truth is always with us. It is hidden from our conscientious mind. Where it is hidden, that's a riddle. We have to solve that. That's why the word was ikna sach bujhayan. Bujhai literally means bujharat, a riddle. So those who go after solving this riddle, tinna atut bandhar devaya, they end up discovering the unlimited bounties of His grace. So, when they find it, har chet khaye tina safal hai. Chetanta, chet. They wake up from the slumber, they wake up from the dream, they wake up from the sleep. Sleep, that is a Maya. Jo supana arpekhana taiso e samsar. Gurbani calls this life, this world, as a dream state. And we need to wake up from this. We continue dreaming, and we know that in the dream, whatever is, we can never question whether it's true or not. It appears to be so true that we never question, which is what is happening to us in our this life. Whatever is happening, it appears to be so true, so real, that we don't question. We don't ask anything. We say, this must be true. Even though at some level we know it cannot be true. It is a dream. But since we refuse to wake up, what happened? Acheta hath chadaya achetanta. Keep on sleeping. Keep on dreaming. And they get nothing. So now the question is, why don't we wake up? Gurbani says, Jo supana arpekhana. As you are seeing the dream, so is your life. So don't we trust the Gurbani? No, we do trust the Gurbani. That would be not a very correct statement. We read it with such a reverence. So if that is the case, then why does not it sink in? Next shloka answers that question. So you can see the link between the 8th Parh and the 9th Parh. Next thing says, Parh Pundit Baid Vakhane Maya Moh So Aaye. Here lies the problem. Now Pundit does not mean literally what we know it to be. Pundit literally means those who call themselves learned ones. Those who claim that they know. And then they go on a preaching mode to everyone, trying to convince that what they are saying is the ultimate truth. It is interesting to note that for the last 5,000 years of human consciousness, there has not been a single preacher who has not declared, mine is the real truth. Now, a matter of common sense, everybody will say, but wait a minute, the truth can be only one. How can be your truth be higher or better than the one who's claiming here? That is the truth. And then we go into Vakhane, then we go into lecture, then we go into discussion, which is what the line is saying. Parh Pundit Baid Vakhane. They reference the books. They reference the Vedas, the Puranas, the Shastras, the scriptures, and then they try to explain with their intellectual power, with their brain power, with their memory, with their logic. They try to convince the people that they know the truth and that is the real truth. But the reality of all of them, bar none, is Maya Moho Swai. Swai literally means taste, swad. They are just enjoying the play of Maya. They are in the same illusionary world like everybody else. Because anyone who knows the real truth does not have to come and declare that I know the truth. He would be the living example of the truthfulness. He will be the truth personified. Everything about this individual would be expressing the truth. Buddha never called himself to be a Buddha or a Brahmajnani. We gave him the name Buddha. He was Gautam. Nanak never called himself a guru. He declares, Nanak har ka das hai. His relationship with his creator is of a master and a slave. We insisted, no, you are a guru and we are going to call you a guru and we are going to worship you as a guru, whether you like it or not. This is our doing. So, each and every one of us, a Brahmajnani can never claim that he knows. He only says, look at me. Look at my actions, look at my choices, look at my decisions, look how I live. You can live the same way. Now, why don't they do that? It's very simple. हर जन ऐसा चाहिए जैसा हर ही होए. Bhagat Kabir ji declare, Harijan cannot be called a Harijan unless all of his characteristics are exactly the same as her. Harijan aisa chahiye jaisa har hi hoye. So now we know that the Hari does not come on the ground and tell everybody that I created this. Thank me for that. Appreciate this. He never says that. Only humans read the books, then cut and paste, create a new book, and then put their name on the authored by so and so. I am going to present a paper. I am going to deliver a lecture, and these are my thoughts. According to me, this is what it is. And if you ask them, how is it according to you? Is this something that has never been written anywhere? Is this something that nobody has ever thought of? And you are the first one? If you are not the first one, how you have the courage to call it as your own idea, your own thought? But we do. Why we do? The answer is right in front of us. Parh Pundit Baid Vakhane Maya Moho Swai. They are tasting the fruit of the illusionary world. What does that prove? Everybody say, great, he's a very learned man. He's very knowledgeable. Look at his memory. Look at his power of argument. How convincing he is. How humble he is. How sweet his voice is. On and on and on. What is this? This is the Maya Moh Sawai. Because of that information that has come from the generations to generations to generations, we are so much trapped by it. What happens to a common mind then? Duje bhai har naam visarya man murkh mile sajaye. Here is the problem. We are so now convinced by this, we get attached with their logic. What is their logic? Duje bhai, the other. What is the other? The outside, the Maya. Because Gurbani only talks about two. One is the creator, rest. Second is all of the creation. That's why everything is called Duja, the second. There is no third. Gurbani only talks about two. Creator is the one, creation is the second. Apine aap sajiyo, apine rachiyo now, dui kudrat sajiye. Dui, second. What did he do? Created the creation. First created the self, and the second was the creation. Job is done. There's nothing to now. The whole game, the whole play is of this Maya now. Since the creation.
Did he create himself?
The Nirakar became the Akar. The question pops up in the mind, well, is this all his creation? Did he not have some helper gophers going for it? Well, the problem with that logic is that he would have to create the helper and gopher also.
No, did he create himself?
He is self-created. Apine aap sajiyo.
That's what I said.
He is self-born, the only one. Pando hi pand upjay pande baaj na koe. Nanak pande bahera eko sacha soe. Gurbani says, Pando hi pande upjay. Everything else, including the female, is created with the help of a female. But there is only one thing that's not created with the help of a female. Bhando hi bhandi upajay. Bhande baaj na koe. Bar none except one. Which is that Nanak Pande Bahera Eko Sacha Soe. He is the only one who is self-born, who was not born of a female. Now, since we got lost in the knowledge perpetuated by the so-called learned one, Parh Pundit Baid Vakhane Maya Moh Sawai, Duje bhai har naam visarya man murkh mile sajaye. What happened to the mind? It went to sleep. Murshat, behosh ho gaya. Why? I know it already. What is there to know now? See, I heard from so and so, and he is the learned one, so he must be telling the truth. Now, some of you might over in the internet land wonder, well, we are listening to you. It applies to me just as much. Whatever I am saying right now should not be cast on a stone. It is subject to the analysis. It is subject to the verification. It is subject to the discussion, the questioning. That's exactly the reason why at the end of every session we'll say, anybody wants to make a comment? Anybody wants to ask a question? Did it answer some questions or did it create a few ones? Did it remove some doubts or did it create some more? But if we don't rest ourselves and we go to sleep, if our mind become murshid, behosh, go into the dreamland, then what will be the end result? Mile sajaye, you will have to pay for this mistake. And that's what we are doing. We are born just because of that reason. Had we heard it clearly, paid attention to what we were being told, maybe we would have done something about it. Well, why to talk about the last life? Let's talk about this life. Whatever our age is, until now, none of us have paid attention to what we need to be doing. What we need to be doing? Third line. Jin jio pind ditta, tis kabhu na chete, jo denda rizq sambaye. Here is what we were supposed to do and we had never done it. Which is, Jin jio pind ditta. Jio means the life, pind means the body. Who created our body, put a life in it, and then made it possible to be sustained. Jo denda rizq sambahe. Not just one, not just two. Not that he made some and then told you to go take care of them and he's done with everything. No. He didn't tell you to do anything. He just created and took care of you. But you never remember him. You never pay attention to it. You are never in gratitude. Why? Because you are continuously running into Maya Moho Suai. There is no freedom from it. There is no break from it. It is a continuous, never-ending process. What are you doing now? Well, it's a Friday. I have a commitment to go to. Okay. What are you doing now? It's a Saturday. I have some home chores to do. What are you doing now? It is a Sunday. I have to take care of it. I take some rest. Or I have to watch a game. Or I have to do some shopping. What are you doing now? It's a Monday now. I got to get back to work. You see? We never have the time. Never have the time. Each and every one of us can ask this question. When do we go to a temple, a mandir, a masjid, a gurdwara? The slightest possible diversion will distract that, derail that thought, and you will go somewhere else. Thinking about him, remembering him, talking about him, discussing him is always the last thing on everybody's agenda. If there was no food served in the religious institution, ever, you can experiment and see how many people show up. If they are not allowed to socialize, and you stop them there, only you are here only for one purpose and just to talk about him, discuss him and know about him. If you're going to do anything else, get out of the boundary of this particular building. Then get how many people will stay there, how many people will visit that place. And if you don't believe me, I welcome you, I invite you to come to the place where we are broadcasting this right now. And you will see how many people are sitting here. Why? Because there is no socializing here. And there is no food here. There's only one thing here. As long as you sit here, we're only going to talk about him. And if you get tired, you can get up and leave. This is what has happened to us. That's a manifestation of, or the end result of, Parh Pundit Baid Vakhane Maya Mo Savai. Artificial knowledge. The illusion of I know. The ego satisfaction. I am doing my duty. My duty is to take care of myself, then my family, and then my friends, and then my society. And if there is any time left, well, I'll talk about God too. I'm not allergic to it, but I just don't have the time. So, going on that logic, जिन जियो पिंड दिता तिस कबहू न चेते जो देंदा रिज़्क़ समाहे, the one who gives everybody. You don't remember him. कबहू न चेते, चेतनता दे विच आंदा ही नहीं. You stay in the dreamland. You don't wake up to his world. So what is the then consequence of that? जम का फाहा गलो न कटिए फिर आवे जाए. That's the end result. It's perfectly okay. If you want to play that game, remember the result. Jam ka faha galo na katiye. Jam does not mean jamdut. Jam kal. Kal literally means time. Jam kal word comes from the bondage of the time and space. You are bound by that. All of our life is bound by time and space. The human body cannot survive without time and space. So you are bound by it. Jamka phaha galo na katiye. That bondage you cannot be free from. And what is the consequence of that bondage? Phir aave jaye. Now you are in the cycle of life and death. Birth, be born, die, be born, die. What is birth and what is death? The consciousness will keep on acquiring new bodies like new clothing. As the old clothes wear out, you will drop that clothing and go get another one and start the cycle all over again. That one which is you will never die, will never go away. It is just waiting to be freed from the bondage. And that is possible only through the help of this body. So every time you go back, you drop this. In that dimension, you realize, oops, I goofed up. Give me one more body. This time I will make sure that I don't come back. And you come back. And you forget again. And the game starts. And you go back again and say, oops, one more chance. He says, well, listen, I am not going anywhere. Take as many births as you want. Live as long as you want. Come and go as you like. I am not going anywhere. I am eternity. I am not in a hurry. I am not in a rush. I don't want to cause you undue trouble. He will never come down and say, did you not promise me that you're going to do something different this time? He's never going to say that. Who says that to us? That's the job of the master. That's the job of the guru. That's why the Brahmajnani comes on this planet. Janma maran dohu mein nahi jan par upakari aaye. They don't need to be born. They are not in the bondage of life and death. But who's going to tell the man that you made a promise somewhere? Now you have forgotten. Wake up from the dream. It's the job of a Nanak, a Kabir, a Jesus, a Muhammad, a Buddha. They are the one who say, Listen to us. You did promise this. Believe us. You need to wake up. And we keep on sleeping. Why? Because we have learned from the Pundit. The all-knowing Jnani who read the scriptures and translated them for us. I got an email just an hour ago from a young lady who's saying, I hear you and you are saying this, but I also heard about this topic from a very renowned Kathakar who is being portrayed as an evolved soul, a Brahmajnani. But he said this. What should I do? Now how do you answer a question like that? She's comparing two who claim to know. I said, this is my thoughts about it. She said, well, somebody much better known than you are said this. So the decision is yours. Decision is completely yours. That's why Gurbani says, Akli padke bujhiye, Akli kiche daan, Akli sahib seviye, Akli paiye maan. Use your own intellect. Invest your own energy. Meditate on it. Don't just look for and now a third vote. Well, one said this, the second said that. Now I'm confused. Okay, I'm going to go talk to the third one. Guess what? He's going to put his own nuance in it. Oh well, now I have three versions. Now what I do? Let's go to the fourth one. Guess what? You will keep on going from person to person to person until you apply yourself, which is Maya Moho Swai. Get out of that swat. Get out of that taste. Meditate yourself. Whatever resonates from your inside is going to be your truth for that time being. As you grow, that truth might change even further. But that's what the journey is about. You are never going to find an absolute truth through the mouth of an individual. If you don't believe me, well, Muhammad came and he said, even though Moses, Jesus, Ibrahim, King Solomon, they were all evolved souls. But what I am saying is higher and better than all of them. Why? Because I'm the latest in the line of the messengers. They came first, so their knowledge was only that much. The other one came second, so he added a little bit, etc., etc., etc. This argument goes on at the highest possible level. Not puny people like me. I'm talking of those who claim themselves to be in a direct touch with the God Almighty. They also negated those who claimed themselves to be in touch with the God Almighty prior to them. This drama is not going to end. So use your intellect. Use your own power of reasoning from within. And then hear the voice that comes from inside. If you don't do that, next line tells you what's going to happen. Man mein kishu na suje andle purab likya kamaye. Kishu na suje andle. Andale doesn't mean a blind man. Andale means the one who is unaware, doesn't see the truth. Not blind from the outside, but the blind from the inside. And that's what I have been insisting for the last 5 minutes. see from inside. Sit down by yourself in a quiet environment and think, can the spirituality be bound by any ritual? Pick one. Well, I should go to Ganges every year and take a bath. That will help me purify my soul. Ask yourself, can the water purify the soul? Is it physically, emotionally, intellectually, spiritually possible? Well, the Vedas say so, so-and-so Jnani says so. Well, I'll tell you, Gurbani says, पर ये हाथ पैर तन दे पानी धोते उतर सके. That's it. पर ये हाथ पैर तन दे. If you are full of dirt, take the water, wash the hands, the legs, the body, and the whole of the dirt will be washed away. Nothing else. Because it goes on to say, पर ये मत पापा के संग ओढ़ो पे नावे के रंग. If the mind needs to be cleansed, body is cleaning is not going to help you. You're going to have to meditate. Okay, so now you find an argument. Now weigh these two arguments. Vedas said, oh, by the way, for your information, Vedas never said that. Somebody interpreted it that way. Those Brahmagyanis also know better. They documented something and then people like me, so-called Pundit, came along and translated, which is where we started the journey. Parh Pundit Baid Vakhane. Don't be blind from inside. मनमुख किछु न सूझे अंधले पूर्व लिखिया कमाए. And then what? It's whatever choices in the past you have made, based on those choices, the fruits will be presented to you. You put a seed somewhere in this life, next life, previous life, any life, those fruits will be coming to you and you will have to suffer the consequences of those seeds that you sowed. But if you pay attention to what was told you earlier, which is, Jin Jio Pind Ditta Iska Bahuna Chete. If you start the Chetanta, if you start the Simran, if you start the Jap, if you start remembering him, then here is a new potential, which is, Pure Paag Sadgur Mile, Sukh Data, Naam Vase Mane Aaye. Then, with the grace of Pure Bhag, with his grace, a blessed soul will put you on the right path. What is the right path? Naam Vase Mane Aaye. He will not give you any rituals. He will not give you any methodology or a process of doing this or that many times, at this place, etc. He will just put you in touch with the Shabad, the Naam, the word. He said, take this and try to make it a part of your existence. Naam Vase. Vasajana. Meaning thereby to make a permanent place. If that happens, Sukh mane sukh penana sukhe sukh vihaye, Nanak so now mano na visariye jit dar sache sobha paye. Then the life will take the turn into the blessed environment, a peaceful environment, Sukh mane. You suddenly start experiencing an inner peace, regardless of the chaos on the outside. You certainly are completely in Sahaj. So, the Brahmanis ahead of you have done it, shown to you, experimented it. Hence, you are also encouraged to do Nanak so now mano na vikarye. Don't forget it. Jit dar sache sobha paye. That is the only possible way of being worthy of His grace in His place. Second shloka. Mahla tija. Sadguru sev sukh paya sach naam gundas. It is now affirming what it has said. That if you do this is what's going to happen. So next shloka affirms that Satguru sev sukh paya. Sach naam guntas. Guntas literally means guna da khajana. The wealth of good characters. If you say in that memory, you will start getting the characteristic of Him inside you. Gurmati aap pashanya Ram naam pardas. Now, you are not dependent on anybody. Gurmati aap pashanya. Now you will know. Many people come to me and say, well, if we do this, what will happen? And my normal response is, start doing and you will know it. No, but we want to know ahead of the time. Well, that's not possible because every journey is unique. Whatever I discovered is not going to be your discovery. So stop comparing. Just get started. Gurmati aap pashanya. Apne aap nu pehchan layega. You will know your own reality. Who you really are. Now wait a minute. Don't make fun of me. I know who I am. Well, who are you? Well, I'm a man. No, you're not. What do you mean I'm not? Well, what happens if I remove all the signs which tell that you are a man or a woman? If I surgically remove everything, who are you now? Oops. This is my name. Oh, no, it's not. It's a symbol that your parents gave you. I'm a body. No, you're not. What happens to you when the body is asleep? Or under an aesthetics? Or drunk? Or under drug influence? What happens to you? Where are you then? You see, we really don't know ourselves. We think we do. That's why Kabir said, मेरे बाबा मैं बावरा, सब खल्क सियानी मैं बावरा. The people call me, I am crazy. And he says, let me ask you, do you know the definition of who's crazy? Let me give you the definition of a crazy. So बावरा जो आप ना पहचाने. I call the person who doesn't know himself, who he really is, a crazy person. Do you know who you are? Because if you did know, here's what will happen. आप पहचाने तो एक कह जाने. Those who know themselves, they know everybody because everybody is the same. For us it is not the same. We distinguish between everything and everyone. We judge everything and everyone. We label everything and everyone. Gurmati aap pehchane. You will know the self. And when you know the self, Ram Naam Pargash, the light, Pargash. Now you see that light inside. Today you close your eyes and you see nothing but darkness. If you follow the process that has been given to you, then as you close the eyes, that light inside would have no comparison to the light outside. Sacho sach kamavana vadiyai, vadde paas, jio pind sab kiska, sift kare ardas. Sacho sach kamavana. See if you walk on that path, your actions, your words, your behavior start converging toward the truthfulness. You start stopping yourself from getting more lost into the grips of Maya. The world will encourage you. The outside will say, well, so-and-so is doing that to you. Why are you not responding? And if you are on the path, you'll say, wait a minute. If I respond in kind, then how I am different than? Am I not playing the same game? Am I not like them? How can I sit on a different platform and say, no, I am following a different lifestyle? You see, when you ask that question, you cannot answer back in kind. You cannot behave the same way. You just have to learn to be different, because this path is different. That path, Duja path, the Durida path, the Maya's word is Kood Raja Kood Parja Kood Sab Sansar. This path, एक जग सच्चे की है कोरड़ी सच्चे का विश्वास. This path is of the truth. सच्चो सच कमावना. And then, what you do? He said, then you step back and let him do his job. You just do सच्चे सच कमावना. Vadiyai vadde paas. The reward is in his hand. Don't you go about doing the right thing and then say, well, where's the result? I just did that. See, I didn't respond in kind. I'm still hurting. How come? Now, vadde paas. That's not in your control. That's in his control. Jio pind sab kiska sift kare ardas. There is no other prayer for him. All the religions of the world have put us in this trap. Pray to him. Pray to him. Ask him to do this for you. I got a call from a person in San Jose who told me that there's someone in Calcutta, a priest, who has cured people of insidious diseases. All he does is just pray. And if something higher beyond his capacity comes in, then he calls his own teacher and they pray together. I've seen it. Bhaisha, please accept it. It is a fact. And I told him that may be a fact for somebody. I'm not going to sit in argument. My Guru told me, whatever he does for the cause. And we are here to accept his will. The same priest must have forgotten Jesus' last comment. Before he left this world, physically, he said, "Thy will be done." Why didn't he pray on the cross and said, "Get me out of this misery"? Why did he do that? Can there be a better prayer praying soul than Jesus Christ on the cross? And instead of praying, saying, "Take this pain away," he said, "Thy will be done." Hasn't Christianity completely forgotten that message? Haven't we forgotten completely that message? It is His will. What is the ardas to Him? Bani says, here is the ardas to Him. Jio pind sab tiska. Sift kare. That's it. Jio, the Jaan, the life energy, pind, the body, is all His gift. Just praise that gift. And that is ardas. There is no other ardas. The gratitude for the opportunity to free yourself from the bondage of life and death. That's the prayer. Our prayer, tell Him, please do this, not that. So where is the acceptance of the will? What happened to us? Is this so difficult concept to understand? In prayer, you have set the foundation. I am I and you are you. Sit there, I will speak, you listen, and then after you listen, you do it as I tell you. Now, if this relationship is going to stay this way, I am going to be here, he is going to be here, there, what is the possibility of merging in it? How will I become one with one? The foundation is based on the two. Now, I am sure somebody is going to tell you that there is a power in prayer. So how are you going to decide now? Use your intellect. Use your brain. Meditate on the things and hear your inner voice. जियो पिंड सब तिसका सिफ्त करे अरदास सच्चे शब्द सलाहना सुखे सुख निवास. The truth is the only one. Which truth? Not because it is now close to 9 o'clock, this is the truth. It's not that truth. Gurbani knows only one truth. Adi Sach, Jugadi Sach, Hari Sach, Nanak Hoshi Bhi Sach. End of all conversations. Everything else is a duja, the illusion, the maya, the lie. The truth is only one. And the effort to cultivate characteristics like Him is the purpose of this body, the purpose of this vehicle. Spend the time on this planet living like He does. He's living right through you. So feed His food, not yours. जप तप संयम मने माहे बिन नामे त्रिग जीवास गुरमती नाम पाइये मनमख मोहे विनाश ज्यों पावे त्यों राख तू नानक तेरा दास. So second shloka says all the other kriya karam, jap, tap, sanjam, that we have remembered, mane mai, that we remember, if in that there is no jap, if there is no bhakti, bin name, Without that true bhakti, Srevijivas, waste of life. So, listen to your master. Gurmati, use his intellect, not your own. Gurmati, Guru di mat, intellect, not your own. Guru's intellect. If you use that, now paiye. He will put you on the right path. Now, name, word, shabad. Man mukh mohe vinash. And if you follow your own mind, your own man mukh. Whatever is coming out of your own mouth because of your mind, what will happen? Moho vinash. You will get trapped by the attachment. And by trapping yourself in the attachment, the life will be wasted. Vinash. Barbad ho jayegi. Surrender to his will. Say this. Jiv paave kyo raakh. Say that. Not do this and do that. Nahi, say that. Jo paave. Whatever your will is, let it be so. And create a relationship of the master and the slave. Nanak tera das. Nanak slave nahi hai. He is a Brahmjani. In Shabad, the word Nanak is the stamp of a Brahmjani. Jyot. It is coming through him to us. We are supposed to say and feel and believe, Ashi tere dasa. We are your slaves. You are everything. If you do that, Pauri. Sabgo tera, tu sabasda, tu sabanaras. You are everything and everything is yours. Sab tujhe paso mangde. Nitkar ardas. Here lies the problem. Every day, everyone is praying to you and asking something to give it to them. They are not in gratitude. Just 2 days is sab kuch mile, itna dur hai paas. So you have already given everything that is needed. There are only few who see that truth. Those who see that truth, they see you very close. Those who don't see the truth, they see you very far away. Itna dur hai. Few see you way over. Few see you very close. Why? Because they have understood the riddle. They have solved the riddle. तुझ बाजो थाओ को नाही जिस पासो मंगी है मन वेखो निर्जास. Try to think inside you. Nirjas means to nirna, to select, to decide. Understand, there is no other giver. There's only one. So if there is no other giver, whatever you need is going to give it to you. He's not depending on somebody else. If I don't do it, somebody else will do it. It is his creation. He's the only creator. He's the only sustainer. So how can he stop from giving you what you need? He can only stop if there was somebody else. But there is none. Believe that. Accept that. That is not a made-up argument. It is not an intellectual theory or a philosophy. He is the only one. He is the only creator. He is the only sustainer. So he will continue sustaining you. Nirnak vekho ko nirjas. Think about it and you will always reach this conclusion. Sab tudhe nu salahen de dar gurmukha no sarvas. Those who have understood it and are in your praise, they are the blessed ones. So, may we deserve to be the blessed one. May he grant us the strength, the wisdom, determination to listen to these words from Gurbani and take them inside our heart so that the life might change. With this, we conclude today's talk. This is the 9th pauri on page 85 and 86. We'll pick up the 10th pauri next time. If I have offended anybody with my words, I sincerely apologize for my ignorance and ego. And if I touched, then those are not my words. They are the words from the beyond. Take it as a grace, a prasad. I will open the line for any questions. Yeah, there is a comment from the Sangat here. Those of you who have not heard, I'll paraphrase it. That on the radio somebody was advising as an answer to a question from a lady who is serving her mother-in-law with all the capacities she has, but mother-in-law still keeps on complaining, which causes the scent and unpleasantness in the environment, and they are at a loss to what to do. So the speaker on the radio basically said that you do your job and leave her to her destiny. You do what you think is right and not worry about her reaction. And that would be the true meditation. How you continue doing the right thing in spite of the opposition, in spite of the resistance, in spite of lack of appreciation. That is equivalent of raising yourself to a standard of a saint. So all religion will basically tell you the same thing. You cannot, as I said earlier, you cannot respond in kind. If you respond in kind, then you bring yourself to the same level as the other is. So you should watch for your reaction to such adversity. That is a message from Gurbani, that's a message from Gita, that's a message from Christianity. It is everywhere. The question from the Sangat is, when a soul evolves to a level, why that soul would not go all the way and merge into the highest reality? Because we just heard that janam maran dohu mein nahi jan par upakari aaye. They come back. So the question is, why? The answer was in that statement, jan par upakari aaye. As you evolve, you also develop the compassion of the highest order. This achievement has no parallel, has no comparison. It is the highest possible achievement in a human body form. So if the one who achieves that state of existence and then disappears into the ultimate, that whole of the experience gained through the process would go with them. So in order to not to lose that experience and convey that experience, back to the humanity at large. They voluntarily choose to take one more birth and go through the process and demonstrate to the people, saying, see, it can be done this way. Even though they have done it before. And they have achieved it there. But they don't finish the cycle completely. They come back. Janam maran dohu mein nahi. Jan par upakari. To do the upakar par. Dusre de utte. Praya de utte. To the other. It is a grace. It is a gift to the humanity for a Buddha-like soul to go through 12 years of penance again and show the world. It can be done. And then that's documented. The purpose was to show the people to do it, but it becomes just a philosophy. That's the problem. It just becomes a philosophy, it just becomes a preaching, a new material for the preacher. And the preaching class make a living out of it. That's a very, very side and sad byproduct of this process.
So they are chosen once they merge out of that, or they just don't merge in this?
They don't merge.
They're sent back.
They come back by their choice. They are not sent back. They adopt another physical body by their own choice. We discussed a subject, and I'm being asked to repeat that in English. We discussed that last Sunday in Punjabi. The question was to lead a life of self-respect. Is that also an egotistical act? And we went through this process. And I was pointing out that Gurbani does not propagate the life of complete surrender. It does not make you a coward. It says, bhai kahu ko det nahi bhai manat aan. Bhai kahu ko det nahi. Look at the sequence. The word says first bhai kahu ko det nahi. I am not scaring anybody. I'm not oppressing anybody. I'm not suppressing anybody. Once I accept that as a philosophy, now it does not automatically also mean that somebody is going to come and suppress me or oppress me. But I am changing myself first. I am declaring I am not oppressing anyone. Bhai kahu ko det nahi. If you are living the life of that, then you are living a life of self-respect, which is not egotistical in the sense that it is bad. Remember, the ego is going to remain with you till you merge with the ultimate. We just talked about the Brahmajani who came back, who did not merge. So his identity was in touch. And he chose to take another body form. The I did not drop. The ego as the purest possible form. Not for the self, as a self-sacrifice to the others. But in order to recognize that sacrifice, I is required. I am good, I is required. I am bad, I is required. I am holy, I is required. I am unholy, is required. I exist, I is required. I don't exist, I is required. You cannot declare egolessness. Just as silence cannot be declared, Egolessness cannot be declared because the ego is hidden in the declaration. So the idea of living with their respect is भय काबू को देखना है. Don't go oppressing the others. There is a very fine boundary line here. A brave person has a gun. A tyrant has a gun. A brave person can kill the enemy and be rewarded, and a tyrant can kill the innocent and be punished. Action is the same. Intent. Whether you are living an ego-filled life or ego-less life will be known by your intent, not by your actions. And that is the problem with the human mind. They have a totally different intent inside, and they want the others to see it a different way. Just on the power of their words, power of their demonstration. If I am chanting a name, a word, am I not doing a job? Am I not remembering him? Rather than asking that question to the outside, the question should be directed to the inside. Because if you are really remembering him, it will start bringing changes in your life. Changes in your behavior. Changes in your habit patterns. Your mind will start becoming quieter and quieter and quieter. If the mind is running 1,000 miles a minute, and the mouth is saying, Hari Om, Vaheguru, Vaheguru, you ain't going anywhere, buddy. Don't delude yourself. The true job is defined by one karmindriya and one jnanindriya joined, merged into each other. Karmindriya is the tongue, jnanindriya is the listening. Not the ear. Ear is another karmindriya. So, listening, the jnanindriya part of it. If what you are meditating, what you are saying, if you are listening to it also at the same time, then the mind is not running around. That's job. And that kind of a job will start slowing your thought processes. Because you are forcing the mind to sit at a single point and listen to a single word, regardless of what that word is. It could be Hari Om, it could be Ram, it could be Om, Allahu, it could be Vaheguru, it could be Satnam. It is totally irrelevant. The point is that you are asking the mind to sit down, take a chair back down, stay here, sit here, and listen to what I am saying. And you will say it twice and third time. If you are alert, you will find mind isn't there. And you need to bring it back. And say, ho, come back. Old habit, don't go, come back. So what is job? The definition of job according to Gurbani, when one karmindriya and one jnanindriya are merged into each other. That action is job. Without that, it could be chanting, it could be reading, it could be singing. It is not job. Sikhism does not believe in that. It says he already knows. Before your words are formed, bin boleyan sab kich jaanda. Right? You have memory collection here. They are random words. Some part of your being, without you being aware, is organizing those and slowly channeling and bringing it back, and they are flowing through your mouth. Before that happened, as the things were being arranged, the one who is sitting inside already knows it. You didn't have to take it all in your mouth. Again, the question is, it's very tough. Yes, it is tough. We have been programmed in the world of illusionary Maya. And now we have to deprogram ourselves out of that and reprogram ourselves into the other. And that's what bhakti is all about. That's what meditation is about. The process of deprogramming yourself from the illusionary world and reprogramming yourself into the spiritual world is called meditation. Meditation is not sitting in a specific posture at a specific time of the day. If the mind is not getting reprogrammed, regardless of your kriya karma, that's what happens when you just go to the mandir, masjid, gurdwara and pay your respect. You come home and nothing has changed. No reprogramming has taken place. That's why that is not bhakti. That's why that's ritual. That's why it does not cause any revolution in the life. Whenever you will ask, well, I'm a meditator, what do you do? I am from this time to this time I sit down. To do what? Well, I have been given this practice by so-and-so master. And I do religiously, regularly, I have. Alright, that's very nice, very good. You have a discipline in your life pattern, you have a routine. Now let's talk about the next one. What has it done to your behavior pattern? Are you any humbler? Or are you more egotistical because you do that practice? I see that particularly in the Sikh system almost regularly. The people who would, particularly on a Baisakhi day, they will go through the initiation process. When they come out of that, they have a uniform around them. Then there will be special place made in the Sangha for them to sit separately. And there will be words said in their praise because they have done this particular ritual. So instead of making them humble, they become more arrogant. It's very, very sad development. The world of ritualism feeds, it depends on feeding the ego. It has to. Because it is the enforcement of the ego in a negative sense, not in a positive sense, in a negative sense, that brings the money out of your pocket. Let's say that tomorrow you go to Gurdwara and they ask you, bring your daughter, we're going to tell her to do the recording for all this. Right? So what has just happened? They have singled you out. They have stroked your ego. And you're going to be so happy. And you're going to tell your daughter, look, this specifically called me. There are so many around here who can do the same task. But they specifically asked me. So now, next time when something is there, you will be the first one to, yeah, I'm ready to. Because you now need to reciprocate. Take somebody's son, somebody's daughter, put them on the stage and say, give him the 5 minutes to sing a shabad. And we don't see this. We don't see this game. We don't get out of it. No, what's wrong with that? Children are being encouraged. Children are being encouraged to do what?
ਅਸੀਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਐਕਸਪਲੇਨ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਕੁਐਸਚਨਸ ਵੀ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਸੁਣਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਤੇ ਫੀਲਸ ਲਾਈਕ ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਵਰਡ ਯੂਜ਼ ਕੀਪ ਯੂਜ਼ਿੰਗ ਦਾ ਵਰਡ ਹੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਦਿਮਾਗ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਲਿਵ ਇਨ ਅ ਨੈਚੁਰਲ ਲਾਈਫ ਵੇਅਰ ਵੀ ਡੀਲ ਵਿਦ ਹੀਜ਼ ਐਂਡ ਸ਼ੀਜ਼ ਐਵਰੀ ਡੇ ਐਂਡ ਆਟੋਮੈਟਿਕਲੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਵਰਡ ਹੀ ਯੂਜ਼ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਇੱਕ ਦਿਮਾਗ 'ਚ ਇਮੇਜ ਆ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਜੋ ਬਚਪਨ ਤੋਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਦਿਮਾਗ 'ਚ ਭਰੀ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ
You are absolutely right. That is the shortcoming of our language.
Right. So ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ like when we use the word he, it's automatically the image of a he.
And we need to be very, very alert to not to fall in the trap of, because the language is a man's creation.
Right.
Language is not created by him. All means of communications were created by the man, hence they are as deficient as the man himself.
So he and she is a jalde. Why is it a he? Can't we use a word when we are talking about all this that doesn't have a form, that doesn't have a word that's part of our natural language where we automatically put a picture to it? Like
no,
or something.
You can call it. I normally say he, she, it. Whatever you want to put, pick one.
Mm-hmm.
When I write, I normally address it as a he/she/it.
ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਭਾਈ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਆਤਮਾ ਜਦੋਂ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਆਤਮਾ ਜਦੋਂ ਵਾਪਸ ਆ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਆਲ ਦਾ ਵੇ ਕਿਉਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਂਦੀ So the way we are talking about it sounds like there is a place, like you take a train and you go to a certain place and then you check in and then your turn comes and you find out whether you are going to the next level or you're coming back here.
It sounds so there is a tick back here, no question about it. You hit it on the head.
Yeah. But it's not like that, you know. It's not
like we are basically trying to communicate is there is a state of evolution.
Right.
And in that evolutionary scale, you can dissolve the ego 100% into the higher state, and the metaphor we used is let the drop fall into the ocean.
Exactly.
If the drop falls into the ocean, there is no way for the drop to even know I am a drop anymore.
Yeah.
But if a drop stands at the edge and then come back by adopting another physical form, it is that state which is being explained in Gurbani by saying, Janam Maran Dohu Mein Nahi Jan Par Upakari Aaye. It is that state that's being explained.
Exactly.
But when you are in a time-bound environment and you're trying to explain something, you cannot be going in circles again and again and again for every word. So, certain level of understanding is required to understand really the spiritual message. There is an Upanishad which has only 12 shlokas. 3 shlokas are defining the qualities of a master. The next 3 shlokas are defining the quality of his students. And the next 6 shlokas are defining the creation. But in the shlokas where the master is described, they say, unless you have this quality, you cannot be a master. Unless you have this quality, you cannot be a disciple. And this conversation is not for you. So, Gurbani is something similar to that. You need to have a certain quality of thinking to take this all in.
I see. So you have to make those assumptions, I see.